Welcome to I Feel Like.
Your ultimate guide to navigating life as a young adult.
We're your hosts,
Anna,
Dan,
and Evan.
And we're here to share our experiences and provide advice on everything from surviving college and forming relationships,
the situational etiquette, and maintaining a social life.
I feel like it's time to start the podcast. Hi, welcome to this week's episode. Today, we'll be doing something a little different than our usual content. This is our first installment of the I Feel Like advice column, asking for a friend. We've scoured Reddit and compiled a list of burning questions people have posted, and we'll share our thoughts and opinions and try to best answer those questions.
Yes, this is pretty exciting. In searching for the questions, there was a lot of interesting things. So we picked out some ones that we thought would be good to answer. So starting off, we have, why do I constantly feel tired?
Okay, easiest answer, you're probably just not getting enough sleep. But I feel like from there, it goes a lot deeper. Like there's a lot of layers. Why aren't you getting enough sleep? How are you spending your time during the day? Are you working a lot? Are you just lounging around a lot? Things like that.
Well, I mean, this question is kind of hard because there's it's why do I constantly feel tired? That's so generic. There's no, like, can we get your age, your medical history, give us your daily schedule. We need more information.
Diet, maybe.
We're trying to fill in these gaps, and these answers aren't going to be accurate.
Mm-hmm. We can only provide as much as you give us.
Disclaimer, we are not professionals.
Nope, not medical professionals, not psychologists, none of it.
Not professional sleepers. I don't know. I feel like we get good sleep.
I think out of all things, we might be those.
Is that a job? Can that be my job? Can I drop out of college to pursue that?
Maybe we'll get to that. I feel like you should harp on the getting more sleep though. Like that's definitely the first place to start though. Like, are you going to bed early enough? Or like if you have to wake up at 7 each day, then you're gonna have to go to bed earlier. Like that's just the matter of fact, you know, like you're gonna have to fit in those 8 hours.
I think one of you had kind of hinted at this before too, but it could be like a dietary thing. If you're not eating the right types of food or you're not getting in all your like macronutrients, I think that can make you feel sluggish.
So technical.
And Dan's the one who took the nutrition class, not me.
Well, I'm also wondering, like, I used to always have trouble falling asleep. Like, I would still be tired and I still just wouldn't be able to fall asleep. Like maybe you're stressed or like maybe you need to like meditate before bed or something, or like drink some chamomile tea, or I don't know, like calm yourself down.
Melatonin, some Ambien. I don't know. Oh wait, no, that's how to sleep. They're asking why are they tired, not how to fall asleep.
But I feel like they're
not taking melatonin.
Yeah, I feel like it's probably because of their sleep though. No.
I don't know.
Yeah, we don't know them, but my guess would just be they're not on a really good sleeping schedule. Yeah, so I just maybe plan out your day a little bit better. Say, if I'm waking up at this time, maybe I should go to bed at this time. So you can
maybe schedule naps. Be a napper.
Naps are kind of
naps are hit or miss.
Are treacherous. Yeah. It's like a slippery slope.
I feel like they're treacherous, but I'm hearing all these things about how humans aren't meant to be awake for the whole day, and it's like you're supposed to be taking naps. So I just like. Which is it then?
Well, I think it's like they're supposed to be short naps. They're not supposed to be like 2-3 hour naps.
Yeah, I think they say the ideal nap time is 26 minutes. But I saw some girl on TikTok talk about, I think it was called biphasic sleeping, where you like sleep for 4 hours straight.
Yes,
and then you like do your activities and you sleep for 4 hours more. And she said she really liked it. I mean, she couldn't do it for too long because of her like living situation with other people, and it messed them up. But I don't know. Maybe we should write this person back and ask them to be a little more thorough in their question and give us some background.
If you're struggling with this, let us know. Give us your specific situation.
If you're the one who posted this on Reddit, please reach out to us.
Yeah, I don't think there's anything else we can say without more information. So we can just move on to the next one. So the next one is how to tell someone their cooking is bad without being mean.
Okay, as someone who prides themselves on being a good cook and someone who's very interested in cooking, This is touchy because I know I've, especially during quarantine, been cooking more and I've made some food and dishes and dinners and whatever for my family. And there have been a couple times where they kind of gave me bad feedback, like it was too salty, or I don't know, it just kind of
That
didn't
seems
turn
kind
out.
of like a little complaint. Too salty? Are they really
I
complaining
know
about
they're
that?
not
I
saying,
think
I
that
know
you
it's not
have a
a,
very high salt tolerance compared to most people.
But I don't think that would ruin the meal for me, but I don't know, maybe.
well, I guess it's not like a situation where it's completely inedible, like in the
Mhm.
movies where they pull something out and it's
Yeah.
black on the top. It's nothing like that. But when my mom or my sister, I can kind of tell when they're not crazy about it. And then I ask more about like what specifically did you not like? And I do take it a little personally
Mhm.
sometimes. I don't know, like I like to think I'm good at it.
Do they not like the dish, or did you not do it right? Is my question to you specifically, and not whoever sent this in.
Yeah, we're not answering this person's question. We're answering
We
mine, I
have got to
guess.
get to the bottom of this salty food that Anna is making, people.
I think it's just maybe it didn't quite turn out how we would
Mm,
think. And also I think I definitely have different food preferences in my family. For example, I probably do like things a little more
salty.
seasoned than they
Sure.
do. And I like al dente pasta and they don't. It's just kind of
No,
small things like that.
I don't like al dente either. I don't
Or
like
You're
them.
supposed to eat it al dente. That's a whole
Whatever.
I
nother
don't know.
thing.
And I think some of it is also like I like to sear things and roast things and really get color and Maillard reaction. I don't want to geek out too much. This
Anna
is not a
is the
food
foodie.
science advice column, but I don't know. They'll literally throw a plain chicken breast with no salt or pepper in the oven. Like what is
I mean,
that? That's
I totally do that
who are
too.
you
I was gonna
feeding
say
this to? Your
Evan
dog?
does do that.
I'm okay with that. And like, I love flavor, and like, I love salt and pepper, but like, I don't think that's something that I need to do. And it's like,
I
if I
mean, you've been
forget,
doing
then
breadcrumbs
whatever.
recently though, and I'll take that.
Yeah.
That's at least some
Sure.
seasoning.
Yeah.
Okay, let's bring it
I
back
was
Yeah.
to
gonna
this
say,
Okay.
person's
yeah.
So
Well,
question.
back
I
to the
don't think.
question. Sorry, you can go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say, I think it depends on who, like, the type of personality the cook has in regards to their cooking. If there's someone like Anna who's like really
Relationship, you
proud of their
mean?
food, or I guess the cook's relationship with cooking, like, is it someone who's really proud of their cooking? It's something they think they're
Mm,
good at, that they enjoy doing, or is it someone who's just like, yeah, I cooked some food. It might be good. It might not be good.
when I said relationship, I thought you were getting at like, who is this person to you that's making the food? Like, is this your mother? Is this your partner? Is this just a friend? Like, that would change how I would rate the news,
I think
probably.
I assumed that it was like a friend or a close family member. So
Hmm.
someone who would probably treat similarly in regards to this
Well,
specific scenario.
I would almost say if it's someone you're closer with, then you can be a little more honest. Where if
Yeah.
it's you got invited to a dinner party of
Oh,
someone
yeah. No.
you
Yeah.
kind of know, if even if it was burnt, I would shove it in my mouth and say, "This is delicious. Give me more."
We've all done that.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I don't get the impression that this person is I don't know. I have so many questions like, why is this person cooking? Why are you not cooking? So are you forced to eat their food? And is it like, are they messing it up? Or is it like the type of food that they're making that you don't like?
Maybe a good way to get around this could be saying or offering, "Hey, next time, since you did it, I'll cook next
I'll
time."
cook.
So then you don't really have to have that
Really subtle.
confrontation.
And if you don't want to cook, then you better suck it up and eat this food.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I agree. If you want some cooking tips, I think we did an episode on eating on a budget.
Oh
Did
my
That's not
that
really
gosh,
show
cooking
stop
that?
with
tips,
this
though.
promotion.
But how would you actually tell someone? Would you ever just say like, "Oh, sorry, dude, I didn't really enjoy this." Would you ever do
I feel
that?
I feel like I would sugarcoat it so much to the point that like they wouldn't even get it to criticism if like I wasn't that close with them. But I feel like I would be like, oh, this is kind of like what my mom used to make. When my mom made it, she would do like X, Y, and Z. Oh, I
Mm,
haven't had that in so long, and really just hint that that's how you want to eat it.
mm. I feel like there's definitely ways to do it without being mean. Like you just have to make sure you're not attacking them or like their effort. You just need to say like, be not subtle, but just something was missing, or like, it's not you, it's the
Yeah.
food. Like
I'd also
something like
emphasize that it's just like the person who's eating it, it's your own taste. It's like not everyone might think this,
Right. And
this
that's
what
why
I
yeah.
cooking
think.
is honestly kind of hard because everyone does have different preferences.
Hmm.
But I think a good fallback, or at least something I say sometimes, is this is really good, but chicken's not really my favorite,
Hmm.
to kind of make it seem like it tastes good, but this just isn't typically a food that I enjoy or
Hmm.
eat a whole
Sure.
lot of.
And if
Hmm.
you bring it back to you, it makes it almost seem like, oh, I'm the weird one for not
Hmm.
liking it,
Sure,
even though
sure,
your food
sure.
is great. And I think that does make the cook feel a little better.
Mm.
I'd hope.
Okay, moving on.
So our next question is, my mother hates my girlfriend. What do I do?
I guess this applies to like girlfriend, boyfriend, significant other,
Yeah, we'll just
whatever.
apply this to spouses in general.
I've definitely seen all those TikToks of like, show me your mother-in-law hates you without telling me your mother-in-law hates you. And I find those so funny how these wives are getting these voicemails from their husbands' mothers. It's like, oh my gosh, calm down.
I'm not on that side of TikTok, but now I wanna be.
I
Like,
think with with this question again, I guess it kind of depends on the context. I mean, maybe this person really is just kind of crazy, or maybe there is a really good
yeah.
reason why your parents don't like your significant other. But I think a big thing is a lot of parents like cannot handle that their children are having another life that doesn't, where like mommy's not my number
Yeah.
one contact.
hmm No, I think you definitely address both situations, and I would definitely say that's probably, I'd have to know which of those it is first, I feel like.
Right. I think if it's maybe the first one where I don't know, maybe they do have a valid reason to be a little concerned. I don't know, maybe try to like highlight how how good they are in
Hmm.
the relationship or some sort of a positive. I guess assuming this isn't something like, I don't know, they're like a serial killer or something crazy like that. I don't know.
I feel like it
Mm.
also kind of depends, like the action that you can take about this depends on how old you are and what stage of life you're in. Like if you're still living at home with your parents and it's like the parent then always has to deal with the girlfriend or the boyfriend coming over and things like that, that's one story. But if like you're an adult, you're living on your own, things like that, that's another story. And I feel like you have a lot more freedoms in which
Yeah.
in directions in which you can take it from there.
hmm Do you think you would ever tell your significant other, like, hey, my mother doesn't like you. Could you maybe
I don't
just
think you have to be told. A lot of times you just know.
I feel like the significant other would know before the child.
I'm sure she maybe recognizes some hate, but do you think part of the what do I do is having the significant other act, a little more, friendly, I
Well,
guess, or telling them to act up,
yeah.
maybe do that
I think it also depends
relationship
on how
building.
reasonable the mom's complaint is.
Sure.
Like if it's like, oh, I hate her because she has tattoos, it's not like she can maybe
Yeah.
cover them up, but like,
Well, I guess we're
But I
assuming this is a
think,
case where like it's not some crazy person.
mhm.
They
yeah.
maybe just don't get along. I think in that case, if they're really if they're being mean to this person and it's not just kind of a behind closed door thing, then I think whoever's mother this is needs to sit down and say like, look, I'm not really cool with you constantly like putting this person down. They're important to me. Like,
Yeah.
please stop doing this for my sake.
hmm
But I guess there's also the situation where they may just never like each other, and unfortunately you might have to choose whether this significant other is worth maybe having some family in-law tension.
I guess I always hear about that in the movie, and I'm just wondering, does that actually happen in real life?
It does. I know a
Like,
ton of
It
people
does.
whose
It's
like,
families hate their spouse.
but
It's
valid.
common.
what is
Mhm.
wrong with the spouse that you could do that? Like, I guess I'm just challenging you. Like, if there's some tension between your parents and your significant other, like, don't just walk away from that. Like, try to address it. Like, whatever it is, I guess I'm having trouble understanding what could possibly be such a big deal that they couldn't move on from, or that they couldn't look past, and you could still have some relationship with. But
I think a lot of parents, especially maybe older parents who maybe are more set in their ways, can get a little stubborn at times. Not to say that all old people are stubborn, but I feel like they're just used to certain things. So when things kind of change the status quo as they know it, that can kind of ruffle some feathers, if you will.
I mean, I guess for me, it's like I can't, like, I don't call my parents every day. Like, we don't have that kind of relationship. But at the same time, it's like I feel like down the line, I maybe will regret not having contact like that, because you always hear about things like that. So I guess I would just say, even if, like, oh, there's tension, like, don't give up. Like, keep reaching out, keep trying to have that conversation. Maybe you never know what'll happen. Do we have any other thoughts, or are we ready to move on?
I think we're good. And again, it's really hard to say, I guess, without the exact context of
Yeah.
the
We
situation,
need to
which
know.
we're gonna
Yeah.
probably say after every single
We need to
question.
talk to this girlfriend. We need to talk to the mother. We'll have them both on the podcast. Yes. We'll
Like
figure it
Dr.
out.
Phil
Dr. Phil.
style.
Yeah.
We'll roll some clips, get a studio audience.
And we have a surprise. Your mother-in-law's here.
We'll ambush them.
Yeah, no, that's good. Okay, next question. What can I do to be successful without going to college?
Well, I guess, Evan, do you maybe want to start off talking about this? Just because I know your brother didn't go to college and
Yeah,
has like a less traditional
yeah,
path, I guess.
I think I'm definitely the only one that can speak on this, just because that's how it worked out in life for the three of us. But yeah, my brother didn't end up going to college. It just wasn't for him. And you know, I don't know if I would say he's successful yet, but I mean, he's definitely holding his own. Like, he has a job, and I think there's definitely things you can do without. I would say you do need a high school degree. I would say get that for sure. But college, there's tons of manual labor jobs out there that you could do. There's tons of trade schools that you could go to if you wanted to do something specific like that. I think there's tons of ways to kind of um, not make your own kind of business or whatever you want to do. Like, as long as you kind of have a plan for yourself and like know what you're interested in, but without going to college, then sure, I think you can make it work for sure.
I
This
feel like
is
having a plan is kind of the most important thing that you can do with something like that, because you always hear about too, like not going to college, like, oh, like you can go to trade school, but like you can also just kind of make your own brand, like make your own business, do what you want to do. But as long as you kind of have a set plan and a direction that you want to go with that, hopefully you should be at least starting in the right direction.
I've also heard things about like oh my gosh, how do you say this word? Apprenticeships.
apprenticeships
Yeah.
or
So
like
that's like,
internships.
yeah, no, I mean, I'm thinking more
Well, I guess, yeah,
not
like
company
apprenticeship.
things.
Like I know
Yeah.
apprenticeship is really common in like the term for like the tattoo and piercing industry. Like
Mhm.
that's
Yeah.
they start as like an apprentice or whatever. I don't know. It's probably like more specific to certain types of professions.
I guess, you don't need to have some 9 to 5 office job to be successful in life. As long as you find a job that can, or not even a job, I don't know, some way to make money that's good for you and can help you live a happy and long life, then
Trade Bitcoin. I don't know. But on a more real note, even if you didn't go to a trade school, even maybe if you found an internship, I don't know. This is kind of a gamble because I don't really think this is how it works anymore, but maybe you could get lucky enough to kind of snag a really low level position at a company and then just kind of climb the ladder, get good at your job, learn as much as you can. Again, I don't know how common that is these days because even internships are competitive and a lot of them want people pursuing college degrees, but hey, you might get lucky, or if you know someone in your family or you have some sort of a connection who can maybe set you up with even something like just a receptionist job or just something really
Mhm.
simple.
Something that you can start in at the company. And I also think it's worth noting that, like, just because you go to college doesn't mean you're going to be successful. I think we all know people that
Right.
aren't going to
There's
make
plenty
it.
of people who get degrees and have the same or worse jobs than people who didn't go to college.
Yeah, so you can definitely find something that works for your interests. just figure out your interests.
I guess if we're done with that one, we can move on to our next question, which is, should I throw away all the cards my ex wrote me and our photos together? I'm assuming after a breakup.
I think
I would
this
hope
one's
so.
well, it did say X.
True,
So
true,
Yeah,
true.
true. Yeah.
I think this one's kind of tough. It depends on the person, and I guess it depends on, were you dating for like a month, married for like 10 years? Different, I guess relationships are gonna have different memories, and I know some people are more sentimental than others, but I
I
don't
mean,
know. I
we've
think
we've all had exes. Just
uh
briefly go around and say what we did.
well, I guess for my ex, I did keep some of this stuff for a little while. It's not like the minute we broke up, I burned it all or anything like that. I think I mean, it's not like I took it out all the time and looked at it, but I guess I just wasn't quite ready to part with it yet. But I don't know. Eventually I did throw it away just because I didn't really feel any sort of connection to it or whatever.
Before we move on, Anna, what did you throw away? Like, I'm just interested to know because I can't say that I've thrown away anything. I don't really even know what I have of my ex, to be honest, because I've just kind of like left it wherever it is. I don't even know, but I don't think I've gotten rid of anything. Like, what do you even get rid of?
Um, I guess some cards. And
Mm.
also it was just kind of like little stuff, you keep a little box like this is the ticket from our first date, or like
And
just
you got rid of all
little
that.
kind of like tchotchke things that are kind
Mm.
of reminders of stuff you've done. I don't know. I just threw it away.
And okay, well, I've already talked about my experience. What about you, Dan?
For me, I think I was kind of like Anna. I didn't like toss it immediately, and I'm sure I still have some of it, but I feel like a lot of like the standout things, like, oh, like anniversary or like first date stuff like that, like I threw all that out probably within 3 2 3 months.
Wow, I'm kind of shocked. I don't think I would give the advice that you throw things out. I mean, unless like,
I'm not saying that's necessarily what you should do. Like I don't have any regrets, but like I think every person and every relationship is different. So definitely don't play off of directly what we're saying. Like play off of your own experience and think for yourself like will I be better off if I get rid of this stuff or will I be
Right.
better off if I keep it?
Because you also don't want a shrine of your ex sitting around reminding you of this, I lost the love of my life or whatever. You don't want it to hold you back from living your life or potentially meeting someone new. If it's going to be bad for you, I don't know. I guess it's tough because if you miss them or whatever, you probably want to cling to it. But I don't know, having a constant reminder might not be the best thing either.
I think it's helpful in moving on if you're in a situation where you need to move on from someone in the past. I feel like those physical tangible objects that like you could throw away, they're almost, at least in my experience, it's like it's preventing you from moving on. So by throwing it away, that kind of did help me.
It's just going to depend on your own preferences. Some people move on faster than others. And like I said earlier, it's just going to depend on the, I guess, strength of the relationship, length of time. I mean, I know people whose husbands died and their toothbrush is still on the sink. I don't know.
okay, I don't think I'm advocating for that, but
Yeah, I mean, that's an extreme example, but
yeah,
I don't know. Some people just can't part with it.
I don't know. I feel like for me, it's like I, I, I feel like I understand wanting to move on, but I feel like to move on, I don't know. I just needed time. It wasn't about like those things, and maybe that's just me. I didn't really feel sentimental about things like that. Like I wasn't like picking up a movie ticket stub every day and looking at it or anything like that. Like it's just in a
And
drawer
cherishing
somewhere.
your memories.
Yeah, like it's not harming anyone to just sit there. It's not like I was looking at it anyway, but I guess I'm just thinking like in the future, I don't look back on anything with disdain. So it's like, why not keep them so that I can reminisce and stuff like that in the future?
Yeah, I think to your point, I didn't throw my stuff away as a way to get over it. I think it just kind of sat in my
It was
closet and it was
clutter.
there. And it was just there. And I never really pulled it out and looked at it, but I guess I knew that it was there, which was maybe a comfort or something. But then I think I just got to a point where I just really didn't need it and I felt no attachment to it.
This is kind of a side topic, but I can't hold my tongue because this just drives me crazy sometimes. When people break up and on their Instagram or whatever social media, they delete all the photos of this person. And I don't understand that. I just can't understand. You have this account, people can see it. People see that you've deleted all these photos. I find that completely weird. Like these photos aren't holding you back. Like just keep them on there. It's fine. It's not a big deal.
I mean, I'm definitely guilty of that, but I feel like didn't do it just for the photos, but maybe it's because of the captions where it's like "love you forever" or something like that.
But it's like, okay, I get it. It's there, but it's like we know that's not true anymore. Like we can look at
I
that
think
and
Anna
not.
did the same thing too when because Evan's not
I mean,
on
Oh,
Instagram,
I
but
deleted the pictures, but not immediately. I think some people do find it really liberating or whatever to throw stuff out the minute they get broken up with or to immediately delete the pictures. I don't know. Maybe that's just how some people cope with it.
I
I'm
guess I just don't
not
get how
sure.
you could have an Instagram with one photo on
Well,
it.
you also don't even have Instagram, so I don't
Well, I
know.
guess I guess I'm just better than
If you
everyone.
know the rules of Instagram. Okay, moving on. Before we get too deep in this Instagram, let's see. Okay, this one's kind of a little goofy, I guess, but the question is how to not be gullible.
Don't be me.
I was gonna say, Evan, how's that working for you?
I feel like
Really?
I've definitely.
I didn't
Oh
think Evan was
yeah.
that gullible.
Oh, I definitely was. Maybe I'm better now and you don't see it as much, but I can definitely tell you that I was the gullible one in elementary, middle school, whatever. Like I was definitely the one people were pulling long cons on. I remember
Long
You were
cons.
you
like
were getting
honestly,
scammed?
I for the longest time in high school, I was convinced that this person had this dog, and whatever excuse they came up with, it made sense to me.
You rationalized it in your head.
I've
it
never heard this story.
so I how to not be gullible. I don't know. People if people are lying to you,
Well, I
how do you
think,
not
well,
see through it?
I don't think just because someone's lying to you and you believe them, that makes you gullible. I think it's more like, I don't know. I guess my advice for this question would be just, I don't know, try to like educate yourself, like with a lot of those scams. If it sounds
Oh,
too good to be true, then it probably is. You know what I
okay.
mean?
So
Like,
you're not talking about friends being like just trickstery. You're talking about like you're at the
Like
store and they're
pyramid
talking, yeah, they're
schemes and
talking
like
about
Ponzi
the
schemes.
rewards card. You're
oh,
like,
I
don't
don't
be
know.
gullible. Like move on with your day. Is that what you're saying?
Um, I don't know. I guess when I think of gullible, I just think of people like falling for things really easily
Sure.
or believing things that are kind of outlandish.
I guess that there's like a twofold way to think about this question because in like Anna's sense, it's like, yeah, don't do those pyramid and Ponzi scheme things. They never work out. You're never gonna win that car that they advertise in the brochures, anything like that. So definitely just flat out don't do those. Unless you're the one
Never. Yeah, go ahead.
I was just saying, unless you're the one inventing the pyramid and Ponzi scheme, which like I'm pretty sure that's illegal, but like good for you if you're making that bank.
Never um buy anything from like a solicitor. I don't think I've
Oh
ever done that
yeah.
or my family has, but I definitely like be better
Hmm.
than that. Like, no, you don't need that. Whatever they're
Yeah.
selling. I don't know.
I think, I don't know, I guess some people are just genuinely more trusting of others or more or less cynical and skeptical. But I think it's not a bad idea to question things or kind of think to yourself, is this true? Would this person have a reason to deceive me or something like that? I don't know. I think, I guess not always, but I guess if you're too trusting or too nice or
Hmm.
something like that, I don't know. Maybe that's perfect bait for people who are preying on gullible people.
And once you establish yourself that you're not a gullible person, people won't really try things on you. So then you're in the clear. You just have to get over that first kind of clearing and maybe find someone else in your group who's more gullible. So then they'll be pulled
Oh
the
my
long
gosh.
con
Oh.
on.
Are you suggesting they pawn it off to someone else?
That was the opposite advice I was going to give. I was going to say surround your people that can hopefully tell you the truth. And like, if someone's trying to scam you, they'll chime in and be like, "That's a scam, Evan." Like, just
Again,
move on.
I think we're thinking of this differently between like jokes and actual
Yeah,
scams.
there's a lot of ways to think of this. Yeah.
Well, even if it's lighthearted with Evan's dog situation, I'm sure it didn't make you feel good to know that
No, yeah.
they were tricking you. So even if
Uh-huh.
it's something lighthearted, it can still make you kind of feel bad about yourself.
True, true.
Okay, so so if the problem is like a friend situation, them playing tricks, maybe you should confront your friends, be like, enough. But if it's like a real like money problem, like you're being scammed, then I don't know. You need to find
Contact
some
your
help.
local
Yeah.
authorities.
Or ask a parent, a friend, whoever, before you give away your social security to be entered in for a cruise
Yeah.
raffle or something.
Side note, never give away your social security unless it's for like a job
Sure,
or a government thing.
If they're calling you, like that's a
Yeah,
scam.
if you ever have to give your social security number on the phone, a scam.
Mhm.
I got a voicemail that said if I didn't call, like something, blah blah blah, if you don't call us back, we're gonna have to take legal action. Like what?
No, I
What
think
legal
so.
It makes
action?
no sense.
I think the rule of thumb is like if they're calling you, like that's not real. Like they don't call like that. I don't think
Well, I
that's how
think
it's
that
done.
was kind of to my point about, not to sound mean, but educating yourself. So knowing
Yeah.
that a bank is not going to text you saying that your account's been compromised.
Yeah.
A bank would never do that.
Yeah.
Which I think is, these are just things that you kind of learn with experience. And if you're young, don't worry about it. I mean, like, be careful, but if you fall for something, they prey on young people. Everyone's done
Yeah.
something like that.
Make your mistakes early, so when
Oh
you're
my
an
God.
adult,
Or
you've
no
learned your
mistakes.
lessons. I think if that about wraps up that question, we can move on to one of, if not our last question of the day, which is, I broke my boyfriend's gaming computer. Help.
Evan, does this
Evan?
trigger
Why
you?
does this go to me?
Evan's
This-
our resident gamer,
I get the
CS
game.
major,
Yeah.
computer
I get
I
that
expert.
feel like gaming.
I get that you're calling on me because of the gaming computer, but there's a bigger issue of like, how do you solve this relationship issue? Um, I feel like there's so many solutions. So I'm wondering what you guys think. Like, do you replace it? Do you not even tell him, or do you like tell him and you like, I don't know, reimburse
Anna-
him or something? Like,
Anna, let's give our opinions, then Evan could give the true opinion of what a gamer would
yeah,
want.
you
a
broke
person to
my
do.
gaming computer. Tell me what you're gonna do, and then I'll tell you what the best solution is.
Okay.
I think
I
I'll
guess.
go.
Yeah, you go first.
What I would do is first, I would see how badly I broke it. And if I could fix it in any way I could, I
Oh
would
my
definitely try
gosh.
to do that and never tell
Because you
you.
know
I'm
how
just
to
gonna
work
jump in right
computers.
now. I think that is a terrible idea. And from the framing of this question, I don't know how much you know about computers, but if you broke something, please do not touch it. And like you cannot make it better.
Okay,
That's
so
the
I've
frame of
already
computers,
messed
though.
up. Then I would Google and do YouTube videos on how to fix
Oh my
it.
gosh, no.
Yeah,
And
because
then-
you're gonna know what the exact problem is, and you're gonna be able to
No.
communicate that on like a forum or search for a video.
And then I would get a really sad face on for when they came home and be like, "Oh my God, I broke it, but I have no idea how
Dan's
to fix
playing
it.
the
I'm so
victim."
sad because Evan's gullible." So yeah, that's what I would
Okay,
do.
here's what I would do, and I think this is taking the high road, the mature solution, not this silly, let me try to DIY a computer. But I'd honestly probably just tell them. I mean, I definitely would freak out and panic before I told them, but I would just say, look, this is what happened. And I guess, I don't know, I know gaming computers are pretty expensive, but I guess I would offer to at least give them money toward fixing it, if not completely fixing it myself. But maybe, I think I would hope that maybe they would just say, like, you know what, it's okay. I can buy a new one or something. But
Yeah,
I think at least if you offer, I don't know.
This is definitely like a money issue. Like if this was like a family heirloom that you broke, like that would be a situation. You know what I mean? Like
Right, at
get
least
the
it's
glue,
replaceable,
get the glue
probably.
gun out, like throw that together overnight. He better not know. But like this is like don't Google anything and try doing it yourself. Like if you want to like take the initiative and like bring it to the repair shop yourself and like get that sorted out yourself, like tell them what you broke. Like I'm sure they can figure it out and probably and fix it up without, you know,
Yeah, I guess
without
that's
even having to.
another option, trying to get it fixed behind their back.
Mhm.
But I don't know, I probably wouldn't do that either because sometimes, if I guess depending on the damage, it's just kind of not the same.
Yeah, sure. But even that could
And it's
be
sneaky.
you could surprise him with an upgrade. Say like, "Oh, I broke it. I brought it to the shop. Don't worry, we fixed it and I like got you a better motherboard
Oh,
or
I
something
got you
like
this
that."
brand new
Yeah.
computer because I broke it, but I got you a new one.
Yeah. So I guess the main advice that I would give is don't try to fix it. Like give him the hard news and like you said my boyfriend. So like clearly you're in a relationship. So I don't know, maybe you're not sharing money yet, but like I would assume that you're paying for stuff for each other. So like yeah,
I
just
think people
pay for
value
it.
honesty.
Yeah.
Okay.
Question for, sorry, real quick. If like a gaming computer breaks and you get a new computer, do you still have access to all the games and like your progress, or do you have to like start over and things?
Probably
That
depends.
Yeah, that depends on certain
Wow.
things. Like,
Wow.
is the
We're
hard
not
drive
getting
still
into that right
intact?
Okay,
now.
yeah.
Yeah, it's fine.
Evan will go on for an
Sorry.
hour if we don't cut it
Check out
off
my
now.
YouTube channel. I'll talk about the
Oh my
specific
God,
issue.
what is all this self-promotion? You're making us look so desperate.
Okay, last question. Let's go.
Last question for today's episode. Things to do over the weekend when you have no one around. And from the question title, this is kind of framed in the context of the pandemic. So it's not like hanging out with a lot of people or going to a lot of public places is an option.
Yeah. I think there's a lot of different ways you can go about this because while you're alone, you can still do things virtually with friends, or you can still do things literally just by yourself alone. So I think that there's a couple different ways that this question can be taken.
I think I want to add something that I would recommend is picking up a hobby. I don't know, maybe make some sourdough bread or something, or banana bread. That's what seemed to be the hot baking items of the quarantine,
Try a whipped coffee.
or even just that's not really baking. I mean, that takes 5 minutes. That's not gonna sustain someone for a whole weekend. Or I don't know, painting, knitting, puzzles. I don't know, puzzle sales have probably
Puzzles.
been through the roof.
I feel like just crafts in general are like a good idea too.
I don't know, maybe work out,
Oh, that's a good one.
Sleep.
play a
Oh yeah,
sport.
get your sleep.
Maybe
Are
yeah,
you?
maybe this is why you're tired. You're
Yeah.
sleeping.
I guess then if you want to do things virtually with your friends, that's a whole nother ball game. And I think that we have some pretty good, I would say pretty good suggestions. The three of us haven't all seen each other since the start of the pandemic, really, but we've been able to do some fun virtual game nights, hangouts, things like that. I think there's a lot of different ways you could go about it. I definitely recommend. Sorry, Anna, go ahead.
I was gonna say, I think even just talking to someone else
Mm-hmm.
is fun too, even if we don't, when we get on Zoom or Discord or whatever, even just updating each other on the happenings is fun. Maybe call someone you've been meaning to catch up with. I don't know, call your mom. Sometimes I call my mom when I'm bored. Call someone, even
Don't
if
you
it's
live
just
at
a phone
home?
call. Oh, I meant like when I
Oh,
was not living at home.
okay.
I think back to Anna's point though, I definitely recommend setting up a Discord channel. It just makes things so much easier because then instead of having to like make a Zoom the whole time or like someone having to organize a call, you can just like text in your group chat or whatever and be like, hey, I'm gonna go on the Discord server now if anyone else wants to hop on. And that's just a pretty easy way to talk to people and it's pretty convenient once it's set up.
This is kind of interesting. I know a lot of places are doing virtual events, museums for one, I think do virtual tours or something like that, or even the zoos are having virtual exhibits. They may or may not be ticketed, some are free. I'm not exactly sure, but that could be something to occupy an afternoon if there's something you wanted to learn more about or something you wanted to check out.
Do not go to any of those like drive through a parking lot to see lights or some
I did
pop-up
that.
show. I would not recommend.
Well, I don't know. That
I would
could
recommend
be fun.
I would recommend if you're going with people, because then you can laugh at it together, but do not go alone. It's not worth it.
I think it depends on the event. There's been a ton of stuff. Didn't the Chainsmokers have some virtual drive-up concert or something?
What?
I heard about
That's
that.
insane. Wow, good for them.
And I know there's been a ton of like drive-in drag shows and all sorts of events.
I have not heard of such events, but those sound fun. Yeah, maybe you could go to one of those. The only advice I have is to game. So if you're into that, you could do that. There you go.
Right. I guess binge watching, gaming, stuff
Oh, I
like
was gonna
that is
say
always
play
binge
games,
eating is
but if you want to
always
watch games,
an option.
watch
Also,
a good movie.
yeah, I was gonna say movies, TV. If you're into reading, try reading some new stuff.
Yeah, finish that book you haven't finished since the first grade or something.
Since the first grade.
I hope you're not reading the books you're reading in the first grade. I've really been meaning to finish Cat
You
in
know
the
what I
Hat.
mean? Maybe it's like that high school book that you never read because you hated that
Okay,
teacher.
well, you
Now's
said
the
first
time.
grade.
Okay, well, you know what I mean.
Well, on that note, I think that about wraps up today's episode. If you guys have any more questions for us, if you want us to give our takes on any more advice, anything like that, definitely hit us up on our social media, our website. Links to everything can be found in the description. And maybe in the future, we'll do this again if you guys give us some more advice that you want us to talk about.
Thank you for listening to this week's episode.
Be sure to like and follow our podcast on whatever platform you're currently listening to it on.
Check out our social media, linked in the description, and tune in next week for even more advice.
TTYL.
From IFL.
Bye!